We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Jerry, I want you to say it what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Newman. Feel like we got to pour one out, though. No more Saturday football until August. Can you believe that?
It's painful, man. It's painful.
Whether it was college football or NFL, it's been an awesome season. But today's a changing of the guard. We are fully transitioning into Saturdays that are going to be dominated by college basketball for the next 2 months. Yep. I'm really, really excited. For those that don't know, college basketball is my second favorite sport. Nothing is ever going to trump NFL. NFL is king. But it's now the heart of college basketball season. And I got a question for you as it pertains to college basketball. They had the SEC Big 12 Challenge this weekend. Yeah. Do you like the non-conference challenges in the beginning of the season or right in the heart of the season?
I mean, there's arguments to be made for both sides. I kind of think I would prefer it in the middle of the season. The one thing that you have is you're probably going to be dealing with a few more injuries in the middle of the season and that kind of stuff affecting things. But the teams have more rounded into shape. Whereas early in the season, you've got a lot of youngsters that you're breaking in. People aren't necessarily aware of the system, know how to do all that kind of stuff. Whereas you kind of really have found your identity by this point. So you see a more, the game is more indicative of what you're going to see come tournament time. I feel like at this point in the year.
And especially, I mean, if you're looking at the marquee teams, right? You're looking at the Kentuckys, you're looking at Dukes, you're looking at Michigan State, you're looking at Kansas. These guys are going to be heavy 5-star freshmen or impact transfers, right? It takes about half the season to get your season going. I love it. I would love for the ACC Big Ten Challenge to move to the middle of the season as well, but we don't have that. But we do have the Big 12 SEC, and there's a ton of good games on today. You ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right. And we're going to start off in your neck of the woods, the ACC, in a game that I don't think is going to be particularly close, but I want to talk Duke, number 9 Duke at Louisville. Louisville getting 6 points at the Yum Center. But the big storyline in this game is Chris Mack is out. What do you think about the vacancy in Louisville? And where do you think about this Louisville team in general?
I mean, so Chris Mack, we kind of called this a few weeks ago, or the last couple of weeks. The writing was on the wall. They weren't very good. Chris Mack he's struggled as a coach. There's a lot of things that, like just that they lose a lot of games that they shouldn't, and they're not reaching expectations. He's not been recruiting at the level that he needs to in order to win at a place like Louisville. So it makes sense that he's out. In terms of the job overall, obviously, I think this is a team that's won a national championship in the last decade or so. They're consistent, Final Four performers and tournament and all that stuff with Pitino there. And even they had some prior history of doing that kind of thing. So it's a good job. It's in a talent-rich area. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Awesome fan base, awesome venue, awesome facilities.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them go get a good hire here.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Louisville is probably a top 20 job in the country. I think it's in that probably mid to high teens range as far as quality of job. But I mean, you look 5 years ago, Indiana hires Archie Miller. It's getting lauded as a great hire. A year later, Chris Mack goes to Louisville, getting lauded. I mean, college basketball is tough, man. College basketball is really, really tough. Both those hires look like slam dunks, and they didn't even get through their first contract. So craziness. This game, Duke blows them out, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, Duke's really, really good. Louisville's not that good. That's one of the reasons that Chris Mack got fired here. Sometimes you see when a coach gets fired, the team kind of rise up and have an real emotional victory, and you very well could see that here with Duke coming in, because Duke is the team that in the ACC everyone always has a target on Duke. So that game's been circled and all this other stuff. But with the coaching change in basketball, with so few players really being impact people on the court and stuff, I just don't see it happening.
No, I think this one gets ugly. I think it gets away from them. This might be what's a game where Louisville hits 2 or 3 threes in the beginning and keeps it close, but then over the next 30 minutes, it's blowout central. Let's move.
And the other thing is, just from a coaching perspective, right? Coach K is one of the greatest of all time, right? So he can make some adjustments and just draw up some stuff. And Louisville's probably not going to have the answers since they don't have their coach. I mean, obviously, Mac struggled with making adjustments to begin with, but I don't think it's going to get any better without him.
Yep. No, totally agree. Let's jump to our first SEC Big 12 matchup. And Newman, this is going to be me shitting on the LSU Tigers again. Number 19 LSU travels to TCU in the Fighting Jamie Dixons. TCU, this is going to be a very heavy emphasis today. A lot of home dogs. You know I like home dogs. TCU only getting 2.5, but TCU is 7-2 at home. They're the Big 12 leader in rebounds, and LSU is just 1-3 on the road. Do you think TCU has a chance of springing an upset?
I actually do. I really like TCU here. Being that it's a big, this Big 12 challenge with the SEC, I expect, TCU has some facilities. They're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's going to be a lot of people going to see this game. It's going to be a loud, rowdy crowd. LSU, honestly, they're kind of an up and down team, right?
Yep.
So this is one of those where, yes, they'll probably, be amped up as well and feeding off the crowd a little bit. But if it snowballs on them, it will really snowball on them. And Jamie Dixon's a really good head coach. So I expect TCU to be able to keep this close, and I would not be surprised if they can pull the upset.
Yeah, I'm holding off my upsets till a little bit later. I think this is going to be a great game. I think this is going to be an absolute rock fight. So does Vegas, because the over-under is only at 124, which is criminally low for a Power 5 game. I think this is a rock fight. I think LSU barely covers. If this was maybe TCU +5, I'd be all over TCU. 2.5 just isn't enough for me, but I do think this is going to be a good game.
But you could always tease it if you're at home.
Absolutely. Especially with college basketball. Parlay a couple games and stretch those lines out. Easily can be done. Let's jump to my neck of the woods. Rivalry game. Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan State only getting 3. Michigan coming off a butt whooping. They killed IU last Sunday.
Michigan getting 3, right?
Michigan getting 3, yes.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay.
Michigan, I apologize. I spoke that wrong. Michigan clobbers IU. They win a tough road game at Northwestern. Northwestern's feisty. Michigan's really turning into form. We talked about it earlier about the conference games. Michigan had 2 freshman All-Americans and a transfer guard from Coastal Carolina. They're just starting to find their groove. Diabite is a stud. Houston is a knockout shooter. And MSU just doesn't have the horses this year, especially to stop Hunter Dickinson, freshman Big Ten Player of the Year last year. Michigan State is a team, I said this a lot in the college football podcast, I like their team more than their individual parts. Michigan State's a great team, but I think Michigan has too many. This is my first upset of the day, Newman. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's a rivalry game, as you mentioned, being played at Michigan State with one of the greatest coaches of all time and Tom Izzo being there. I'm going to take Sparty here because 3 points is not a significant margin, in my opinion.
Yep.
Michigan may be playing better, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of weaknesses on that team, especially in terms of depth, right?
They have no depth. They have
Michigan State. Michigan State plays a very physical style game. They get after the boards and they rebound really well. Always, that's a staple of Tom Izzo teams. So I think that Michigan State, with the home environment, if this was at Michigan, I would be right there with you. But I'm going to take Michigan State at home, and I'll give you the 3
That's
points.
always a safe bet, taking Izzo at the Chrysler Center.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I just like the way Michigan's playing right now.
Fair.
Let's go to another Big 12 ACC game. I don't think we have to talk too much about this, but the question I want to ask: Oklahoma at number 1 Auburn. Auburn giving 9.5. Is Auburn the best team in the country, Newman?
They certainly are playing like it. They did have a tough game against Missouri earlier this week, where they only beat them. Yeah, they only beat them by 1, but this is different. It's going to be played on Saturday. Everyone's going to be able to get to the game. It's at Auburn. It's going to be a loud, raucous crowd. Oklahoma's coming in. They're not a great team. So I expect Auburn to come out there and really, show off in front of the home crowd. And this is the first time that Auburn's been ranked as the number 1 team in the country. So a couple
which has been a curse this year. Baylor, number 1, knocked out. Duke, number 1, knocked out. Purdue, number 1, knocked out. It's a curse to be number 1 this year. But I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. Bruce Pearl just signed an extension too, so I think he runs this score up pretty. Bruce Pearl normally does that anyway. I think he's looking for a big win after a contract extension.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's jump. It wouldn't be me talking college basketball if I didn't bring up Creighton. Let's jump to Big East hoops here. Number 21 Xavier going into the Fighting Blue Jays. The Fighting Blue Jays only getting 1.5 and Xavier's previously won this game by 7. Before I give all the love to Creighton, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. Both these teams are pretty good. Xavier obviously is a little bit better in terms of record at this point. But being at home against a conference rival, that makes it a little bit tougher, I think. So I'm kind of leaning with you on Creighton here.
Oh, yes, I need someone added onto that Creighton Blue Jay bandwagon. Creighton is honestly just a different team at home. They shoot significantly better. And if Travis Steele, who took over for Chris Mack at Xavier, he likes to push pace. So he's playing right into Creighton's strength. And that's what I just think. I think this is kind of strength on strength, and I'm going to take the better offensive team at home. But I do think this is going to be a really good game. Scruggs versus Nebhard is going to be a fantastic matchup. Jack Nungy versus Cal Brenner is going to be a fantastic matchup. Guys, I know if you guys are casual college basketball fans, if you guys don't watch a lot of Big East hoops, like outside of the Big Ten, the Big East is my second favorite conference to watch. Just tons of good basketball, and it doesn't get much better than Xavier at Creighton today. All right, let's jump back to the challenge. Number 4 Bama, or no, this isn't college football. Number 4 Baylor at Alabama. Alabama getting 3.5 points. Are you smelling an upset, Newman?
No, I'm on Baylor here. I mean, Alabama's kind of just struggled a little bit lately. So even being at home, you got Baylor coming in, obviously reigning national champions and all that stuff. Baylor's kind of hitting their stride a little bit. They had a little bit of a lull there a couple weeks back, but they've seemed to have rebounded nicely. They're finding their groove back, and I just think that 3.5 points is not enough. So I'm gonna take the Bears here.
Bama plays really well at home. I was just talking about that at Creighton, but Baylor is a wagon, man. Bama just doesn't have the guards. They have a nice set of forwards that can shoot the 3, but Akinjo, Flagler, Mullet Man, they can all just get buckets. And Bama, while they have the past couple of years have been bucket getters, I think Baylor runs them out of the gym. I think I've said that 3 weekends in a row now. And Baylor's 5-0 on the road and 12-7 against the spread. So you got to look at the numbers. do its part there. Let's jump back to the Big East. And in my opinion, it's a sneaky good game. St. John's going to number 14 Villanova. Villanova, not too dissimilar to Baylor, kind of had a midseason hiccup, but they're turning it back around. I'm not calling for an upset here, but 12.5 points in a conference game is too much for me. St. John's isn't that bad, and they have the best player. Julian Champagny and St. John's is going to be a first-round pick. Posh Alexander is one of those tough St. John guards from Brooklyn. I got 12.5 is too much for me, Newman, in this Big East matchup.
Yeah, I'm on Villanova here. When a team is very one player is doing a lot of the work in these situations, when you have a good coach like Jay Wright and you have the depth that Villanova always has because they're just really well coached and really well recruited and really well developed, they can kind of take out those one star teams.
Yep.
And I expect that to be the case here. St. John's, while you said they're not that bad, they're also not that good, right? This is a pretty mediocre team. So yes. Villanova at home, 12.5 points. That's fine with me. If it was more like 15 or more, then maybe I'd lean more towards the St. John's here. But on this one, I'm gonna take the Wildcats.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Again, Villanova, similar to Baylor, is rounding into shape. Connor Gillespie, I think, is looking to have his dream 8th year in college.
Well, yeah, he got hurt last year, so making up for lost time.
There we go. Let's move to my lock of the day, which is in the Big Ten. Number 24, Illinois, going to pesky Northwestern. Kofi might be back. The Cockburn, I think, is going to be in the starting lineup. Northwestern's okay, but still kind of bottom of the Big Ten. I'm going to take Illinois only giving 3 in this matchup. This line didn't make any sense to me, Newman.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. Illinois has been a better team all year. Northwestern's kind of one of the, the bottom ranked teams there in the Big Ten. I understand they're at home, but that just seems like it's too little. Like they think this is a neutral site. You know what I mean? Like basically an even game. No, I don't think so.
Right. I mean, this is a rivalry game, but going to Northwestern is basically like the Rams, right? Like there's no home field advantage at Northwestern. There's going to be more Illinois fans at this game than Northwestern fans.
Right.
Yep. All right, let's move to the game of the day. Definitely a potential Final Four matchup. Number 12, Kentucky, going to Fog Arena. Number 5, Kansas. Kansas giving 5 points. Newman, I'm going to have my eyes locked on this game. This is fantastic late January basketball.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 of the elite teams with 2 of the elite programs and coaches and stuff like that going on. But it is being played at Kansas. And because of that, I am on the Jayhawks. It's just that place for a game like this that they've had circled on the calendar all year as soon as the schedule came out. You better expect Kansas to absolutely be ready to pack that place out. Make sure that they try not to let any of those Kentucky fans in there by scooping up all those tickets, because Kentucky does really travel well, and that this is definitely probably a place where they would want to travel. But I expect it to be very heavily in favor of the Jayhawks in terms of the environment and atmosphere. It's a really hard place to play in general. And Kentucky kind of, because they do have some issues with some of their young players and kind of like just not really staying consistent at times, especially during games, I think that Kansas will be able to the atmosphere may swallow them up a little bit.
I'm with you on Kansas winning. I think UK covers. Kansas isn't a great against the spread team. They are 10-0 at home. Oscar is, believe it or not, Kentucky has the best big man in this game. I do think Braun and Ajabi are going to be too much for Wheeler. I think Wheeler is going to be kind of run into the ground, asked to do a lot here. But again, I think this is a 1-possession game. I think, final score is going to be in that 2-4 range, which is why I got Kentucky going. But I think this is going to be kind of a January classic. I think This is the marquee game of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. I'm really excited for this one. And I'm glad we're on opposite ends of it. Makes it more fun for when I tell you, told you so, for all the times you told me during football season.
We'll see.
Let's jump to a not a football game. This game would be interesting if it was football. Maybe not so interesting in basketball, but Mississippi State traveling to Texas Tech, number 13 Texas Tech, getting 7.5. Are you still on your Red Raiders? You've been higher on the Red Raiders this year than I've been.
Yeah, I'm on the Red Raiders here at home. At Mississippi State, they're a pretty mediocre team.
Yep.
Texas Tech just too good. They've been hitting the groove pretty well lately. Like they play in a tougher conference, I think, especially the top end of that conference is really strong, and they've got some really good wins over some really good teams. Mississippi State is not a really good team, so yeah.
Mississippi State packed their non-conference schedule with cakewalks, and now that it's in conference play, ranked Mississippi State ain't happening again. Yeah. Texas Tech rolls. Let's jump into a game that also isn't that interesting, but we haven't talked about them yet, so I shoehorned them into this show. Number 7 Houston traveling to UCF. Man, Houston, all it does is play fantastic defense, have good guards, and win. I think Houston covers, but my question for you, Newman, is this Houston team going to be the Houston team that kind of breaks into the Elite Eight, Final Four?
I mean, last year they rode it to Sweet 16. They had some injuries. They played awesome. Those tournament games were really fun to watch. Another year of development, another year playing in the same system should help out with a lot of these players. And they kind of, because they know who they are, this part of the conference schedule should be fairly cake for them. Yep. I expect them to roll. Traveling to UCF from Houston it's a long travel. It's not close, but I don't expect there to be any kind of like real issues in terms of them being able to take this one and handle it.
Yeah, no, I think they handled this one with ease. Man, Kelvin Sampson's a great coach. You know, it didn't end great in Indiana, but all that guy does is win. Won at Oklahoma, won at Indiana, winning at Houston. I do think this might be Houston's best team. It doesn't have, some of the big guys that it's had in the past, but I really like Houston this year. It's a team that I think if they can lock into a 2 seed, they can be dangerous. Let's jump into the final Big 12 SEC championship, and it's, again, number 18, traveling to Texas. I just don't like Texas this year. Give me a road upset. Texas is favored in this game. One of these games where give me the ranked team, even though they're on the road. What do you think?
Yeah, so, I mean, Rick Barnes returning home, or returning to Texas, where he was, removed.
Let's putting it kindly. He was ran out of there.
Yeah. He's definitely got vengeance on his mind. But the Texas crowd is probably also feeling it too. So I expect, them to show out pretty well for this game. And Tennessee, while they're usually pretty good, and they've been pretty good
this
year.
It. You don't like Tennessee. You don't like the Vols.
They're a little up and down for me, man. And I just don't like taking road teams when a team is up and down, because it is hard to play on the road in college basketball in general. So, I mean, I'm going to take Texas. I'll give you the 3.5 points. And, it's kind of definitely me pinching my nose and doing it. But I'm going to do it. I'm not a huge Rick Barnes fan. I don't think he's that good of a coach. And I think Tennessee's going to struggle here.
If it does, it'll be guard play. Vescovi, while I like him, he's a senior Moxie guard. Marcus Carr could run all over him. That's my only concern. Tennessee's better in depth. I think they have the better post players. But Marcus Carr can take over a game. Saw him enough in the Big Ten. But nope, I'm taking the Vols. I'm riding the Vols. It may be like I did in the season with riding the Chiefs. It may come back to bite me, but I'm riding the Vols. Last college basketball game here, and again, I don't think this is a great game. I won't be watching this game, but Stanford travels to UCLA. Harrison Ingram, for you guys that love big freshmen, he will be a lottery pick out of Stanford. He's a stud, but UCLA is a machine right now. Newman. Juzane, Tiger Campbell, Jamie Jaquez. UCLA, I think, is honestly maybe a top 3 team in the country right now.
So Stanford's coming off an upset over USC earlier in this week.
Yep.
That sometimes when a team has a big upset like that, and then they're going on the road facing another really quality team, you tend to see a little bit of a letdown. Like, as much as Stanford's going to want to play really well in this game, I think there's a chance Stanford could cover. 13 points is a lot.
13's a lot.
So I would probably take Stanford to cover, but I definitely think that UCLA is going to win this game. Just too much.
Yep. No, I'm taking the 13 points and taking UCLA. They're playing incredible right now. And look at Mick Cronin. I shit on Archie Miller and Chris Mack. Small town, mid-major Ohio coaches that couldn't hack it. Mick Cronin looks like the home run hire we thought the others were. Mick Cronin's done a great job at UCLA. All right, let's switch gears to the NHL, where my Penguins have been struggling. They lost to the Kraken and the Red Wings this week. Still were able to steal some points. But I want to talk Sharks at Panthers. Panthers look like the best team in the East right now. I'm taking them puck line. The Sharks, it seems like everyone's beating up on the lowly Sharks. I think it's my NHL lock. I think the Panthers could win by 3 or 4 goals in this one.
So you're on the puck line there?
I am on the puck line. It's still not great. It's minus 125, but I am taking Panthers puck line as my hockey lock of the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Sharks are not that good. Traveling east down, basically one of the farthest distances they could have to go all the way across the country to Miami to play the Panthers. Panthers, like you said, really good hockey team. They'll be ready to go for this game. They have one of the best coaches in Joel Quenneville. I mean, I can't see the Panthers not winning.
Yep. All right, let's jump to your Lightning hosting the Golden Knights, and they're plus money on the puck line. Newman, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'll take it. Vegas is good. Like, they're a good hockey team. But once again, traveling, east, which is a little bit difficult, more difficult to travel east than it is to travel west, just because you got the time change and stuff going on for you. So, it's not like Vegas is going to have a ton of fans that are going to travel to Tampa Bay for any reason. So this is going to be a very much so lightning heavy crowd. There is Gasparilla going on today, so maybe that kind of takes some of the fans away, but I still expect it to be a sellout just because it will always be a sellout there for the Bolts there. Vasi's should be in net. They won, the other night, and I don't see any reason why they don't keep it going here. So the Bolts puck line, they get, if they're up 1, later in the game, they add the empty netter, and there's the puck line right there. So I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually parlaying the Panthers puck line and the Lightning. That turns out to plus 360. That's 4.5 to 1. That's phenomenal value for only needing 2 games.
Right. But they got to win both by 2. They got to win both by 2.
There is garbage time goals, but I think, again, you're right. I mean, the West Coast, the East Coast is tough. Give me the Florida teams winning me some money today. I like that a lot. And then let's jump into maybe a finals preview. The Brooklyn Nets going to the Golden State Warriors. Curry is playing at top of the world right now. No Kyrie Irving he is not going to be able to play in San Francisco. So what do you think about this game, Newman, to round us out?
I mean, Kevin Durant returning to Golden State where he won a championship, I think this game's gonna be probably a lot of fun to watch. I could definitely see, is Durant healthy for this one?
Yes.
Or is he still out?
He's playing.
Okay, so if Durant's playing, I could totally see it going a back and forth, him and Steph Curry kind of going mano a mano in terms of offensive production. Obviously not really going to be guarding each other. You may see Kevin Durant guard Curry occasionally on some switches and stuff like that, just the long body. But the Warriors are just too much. They're a much better team at this point, especially with the injuries that the Nets are facing. You've got to kind of be questioning what's going on there. Harden's having some struggles, and then obviously with Kyrie with his weird stances and everything like that. Flat Earth and all that other kind of stuff makes you really question how intelligent a guy is, even though he went to Duke and stuff. But anyway. Yeah, I'm on the Warriors here. I think 6 points is reasonable. They can cover that, garbage time, free throws, all that other kind of stuff. Should push that line up over that. And the Warriors have one of the best free throw shooters on the planet in Steph Curry. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Warriors here. But I think this game will be entertaining for large stretches.
Vegas has made a season off people betting the Brooklyn Nets. They're 18-29-1 against the spread. That's one of the worst in the NBA. Give me the Warriors -6 all day. Let's round out. Both of our teams are playing today, Newman. Do the Seminoles bounce back against Vatek?
I mean, I'm pretty down on them right now. They're up and down as a team in general. They won, 6 in a row. Then they lose to a really bad Georgia Tech team. The thing that Virginia Tech does well is they shoot the 3 ball, and Florida State struggles with stopping the 3 at times. So that could really play a factor in this game. I am hopeful that the Florida State will find a way to win, but I would not invest in that game.
No. IU goes to College Park. They have not won in College Park since 2014. They have certainly struggled against really good Maryland teams. Maryland fired their coach. They have 2 good guards in Fats Russell and Eric Ayala. Pretty good backcourt, but TJD might have a 2020 game. The Maryland doesn't start anyone.
He's been
over
awesome this year,
He doesn't start. They don't start anyone over 6'8". Again, he might have a 20-20 game. I think TJD absolutely just, again, he's an All-American, and I think he gets the job done. There we go. College basketball starting 45 minutes.
Yep. If
Get
you're
your beers, get your food.
if you're going to Gasparilla, you're probably already drunk, but have fun.
All right, Tampa people, get your drunk on. I'm gonna go sit my butt on the couch. Till next
See you next week.
Later.